Well, good morning. You should have been with me yesterday. You probably would have seen a grown man cry. So, what I have here is the lumber for the utility shed. And I'm going to explain to you what that is and why it's located where it's located. So what you're sitting here looking at is $1,500 worth of lumber. It's crazy. And I know, I've got a sawmill sitting over there. The problem is I have to get this shed built ASAP. And like I said, I'll get into details on that in a second. Anyway, so without further ado, let's go over there, have a look at what we're going to be building, and I'll show you the process of how I'm going to do it and why it's located here. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is going to be where the utility shed is. And what's going to be in the utility shed is washer dryer, freezer, and my well stuff, my pressure tank and all that stuff. Now, this is at the front of the property. The site for the house is about 400 yards that way. Now, you're asking, why would I build this here? There's a very good reason. So, let's take a look and I'll show you why. As you can see, I have two pipes coming up here and a cable. So, one of those pipes comes from the wellhead with that cable, and the other bigger, thicker pipe heads over to the house build site. This cable right here is 220 feet. So 220 feet of that cable was over $1,000. This pipe was another $1,000. And the other pipe was $300. So if I were to run the cables over to the build site, just in cable would have been almost $5,000. So that's why I'm putting utility shed here. Is it going to be inconvenient? Not really. And there's another reason I'm putting it here, why I'm building it here. No matter what, I would have had to have built a utility shed for these appliances anyway, because the house that's being built is very small and there's no room for this stuff. I'll get into that in a later video. So it made more sense to put it here, more cost efficient, and that's it. So this shed is going to be 12 feet long, 8 feet wide. And it's going to have a slope roof, just like the cabin. And if you haven't watched the cabin builds or anything like that, go back into the previous videos and check that out. So the cabin has a slope roof. It goes from 8 feet to 6 feet. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting 6 blocks level, floor joists with 5/8 plywood. Now I'm making these 2x6s on these platforms smaller than the actual building. It's going to be overhang, and there's a reason for that. So when I put my skirting around, I don't have to cut around this, just right around the perimeter, square, down to the ground. We're going to put some metal flashing on top of it, and we're going to backfill to it, because I don't want any, in the winter, I don't want any breeze in here. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to build a box, shoot it up into the floor, and we're going to insulate it, and we're going to keep critters out. And that's another reason I've learned this from another YouTube channel. Don over at Little Griff of Alberta. I'm going to channel right here. If you haven't seen it, go check him out. Lots of tricks. So on this build, I'm going to use some of his tricks, especially with the metal on top of the plywood for the skirting. So when I backfill, it keeps the moisture away. Now, if you're asking, am I worried about moisture getting into this? No. And I'm going to show you why. This is the ground here. It's rock and sand. I could pour 5 gallons of water right here and it'll dissipate just like that. Absolutely gone. So that's a good thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this level. We're going to get another set of 3 across here, and we're going to get building. This pipe and this cable come across the road under the side-by-side, come up over here, can see, that's the rest of the cable. So the cable is down here, and the rest of the pipe is. So in a couple of days, you're going to see, we're going to punch a hole in the side of that pipe. We're going to drop down a pump with this hose and cable, and we're going to come out 6 feet down there, and that's how we get the water. That'll be in another video. So, but I have to get this utility shed built. It is way overdue. This will give us a rough idea how square we are. It's pretty easy. 3, 4, 5. So the measurement here should be 5 inches or 5 feet. Okay, so we are right there. So we're about an inch off. So that block has to go back that way. Let's see. Right here. Okay, so we're within 1/8 of an inch. So right now, that's good enough. When I get the rest of these down, I'll adjust and make it 100%, because no matter what you do in building, if this is perfect, the rest of the build will go 10 times faster and easier. So I'm gonna keep going with this, get this leveled. I'm gonna get a bunch more down, move this pile, and get us another one over there, a third one in the centers, and off we go. Really what should happen now is you should lay the floor joist, cut pieces, put plywood inside, and then put insulation. Well, I'm going to skip a step, sort of. I'm going to lay 3 full sheets on this, which equals 12 feet. So it's going to be 8 feet by 12 feet. Then what I'm going to do is put my floor joist on top of that. Then I already have a place for the insulation to sit, and it's a solid bottom. Just going to go across there. I will periodically put some screws in just to suck it up. Okay, I'm back, got the insulation, and I cut all the pieces. I went and found I had some 1/4 inch plywood. This is going to be the box that's going to sit down there for the pipes to be in, and I'm going to insulate it. Nothing fancy. This over here. Oh, hang tight, we're coming. Now, this. That's that. Now, let's get something to raise this up over here. The rocks. Okay, let's take this. See where we're at. So this can come up a lot. Good shot. So, just lay this down. So, there's a big gap and all that stuff under here. We've got lots of dirt. Let's fill it up, right? Nothing better to do on a day of, you know, what happened with that? I'd like to go over here a little bit. let's go here. Thinking this is what I should be doing. I don't see why it shouldn't be. But if you know something different, by all means, let me know in the comments. You know, it's quite a ways in from the building. We're going to insulate this, you'll see. We're going to keep the cold out on this side with dirt. I don't see a problem with it. And then, you know, once it gets into the floor joist, it'll be insulated again. So, I don't know. What do you think? I think I'm okay. And again, I don't want to be out here in minus 30 trying to figure this shit out either. So, if anybody knows something different, please let me know and I'll fix it ASAP. Okay, that'll be good for now. Get the floor on. I'm gonna have to have a box, an opening here anyway, and I can get the rest, top it off. Let's see. So, 173.5. It's perfectly square. I'm gonna take a couple of screws. I'm just gonna pin it down on all four corners, and then this thing's gonna stay square. Okay, well, the framing is done. It's time for insulation and poly and plywood. Took a break, had a little bit of dinner, went for a swim at the lake, come back, and it's still pretty warm out, but it's a heck of a lot better than what it was. So I'm gonna definitely get the insulation and poly on this today, and hopefully just lay down some of the sheets. So